it's a very cash heavy business. I'm a student. That time, my allowance for everything, total allowance in working terms, they call it gross, sucker.
Yeah.
My gross,
Was
my gross was 1.5.
Buy groceries.
My gross was 1.5.
Buy groceries with that. Buy your electricity. Buy your toiletries. Buy
Everything.
everything. And with your like 100 rand change,
Yeah.
make a life.
Everything.
Have a life. 100 rand.
Exactly.
So what happened in first year for me, it was easy for me to like dive into a relationship and just be like, okay, cool, I tried this friendship thing and everything like that because I came out of high school not having a close friend. I had friends, but I didn't have a close friend.
When then we started being in a relationship and like we were like literally engulfed by our like relationship, then the friendship with them like also suffered because you came first in my life. And then I left that job. I had nothing at all, and I was scared as fuck. And like it was going towards the end of it because you also
We were
got a
also
job.
scared. I
You also
got
got
an
a job, an
internship.
internship at that
Yeah.
at the
And
point.
had you not been there, I doubt I was going to be able to do the internship and like finish my final year. Hey, housemates!
We in the house.
Guys, welcome back to our channel.
Welcome back.
I'm Dumi,
And I'm Sandy. So
and this is the Ngwenyas house.
Ngwenyas house. Guys, welcome to Living with the Ngwenyas. So Living with the Ngwenyas, practically, if you've been a housemate for a while, we used to have sit downs where we call it chats on the couch. We're now transitioning that into a podcast. So we're taking that to here. We're having conversations about our relationship, our journey, the topics you guys sent to us for us to talk about, you know. So if you're listening to us on Spotify or any other podcast platform, you can drop us an email at on ngwenyashouse@gmail.com, and you can drop any topic suggestions you have for us. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you know what to do. Comment section, just drop in the comments any topic you'd like us to chat about. And if you'd like to do it anonymously, you can always just DM us on Instagram. Yeah. So welcome, guys. I'm Sandy.
And I'm Dumi.
Yeah, so for those who are hearing us for the first time on a streaming platform, we're a married couple. We got married young and we just love each other.
We're still very young. We are a young married couple that's crazy and in love, experiencing life changes and everything. I think that's the thing about getting married young or being together from such a like young age. You get to experience so many changes together. You get to
Yeah.
grow together. You get to have so many life changes, and you get used to the other person's quirks. And
Yeah, but like the eye.
the reason why I just mentioned the quirks, like Sandy so likes, like I'm a child basically. I'm his child, and he's been telling me to stop putting my foot on the table. And right now, I just put it on the table, and if you picked it up on camera, he gave me a look, and I knew.
But yeah, like
It's so
it's so funny. Like, you know, we know each other so much now. Like, we don't even speak about, like, for example, sometimes you'll know like exactly what's wrong without even asking me. You'll just look at me and you'll see a sudden reaction like, okay,
Yeah, no,
this is what's happening.
I've overstepped here.
But yeah, it's so nice. And today we're going to be chatting about how we changed as people from when we started dating, from when we got to know each other. We'll obviously just give a little background of how we met, how long we've been together and stuff, and how we've changed from the time we're in university and we transitioned into where we are now as adults, just practically living our life now on our own, handling all the responsibilities.
Yeah, which is so crazy. Like, we
Yeah.
had to learn to be adults together.
Yeah, and we're
Which
still
is,
learning.
Like, a lot of people, And those changes, we are still learning, and those changes are just so drastic. I'm always wondering, like, from the start of our relationship, just like we're in first year. You're practically in first year, bruh. Like, even though you had been you had been in university for 2 years, you were in first. I was in first year, and
Yeah.
he'd been there for a while, but we are still very much kids,
Yeah.
very much dependent
I
on our
turned
parents.
21 that year, no?
Yeah, you turned 20. So when I met you, you were 20 and I was 18.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, we met in April of 2014. I was 18, you were 20. When you turned 21, we were not dating yet, but we were
But it was the
sneaky,
same
we were
year. It
sneaky
was the
links.
same year.
Yeah, you were my sneaky link.
Yeah, so we
And
met. We met in university. We were at the University of Pretoria in South Africa. We met very randomly because I never attended classes. But I went to the stats classes once. She was there. We saw each other. I asked her to get my paper. And
we didn't really see each other.
yeah,
You saw me, I didn't see you.
yeah, I saw her.
And like the story is so strange. The housemates that have been housemates for a while know that.
Yeah, so if
know
you're
the story.
so if you're listening to us on a streaming platform,
This is
you can just go to our YouTube channel. You'll see the story of how we met.
Yeah, but for context, since we are going back there, the first time I actually think Sandiso came to sit next to me, so it's not accurate to say we saw each other. The first
Yeah,
time,
it's fine.
like he saw me and he sat next to me, then he was snooping because I had this big diary that had my address and everything. Then he saw that I also lived at the Fields, which is the apartment, like flats that are next to the university. So he was like, "Oh, good shot. Now I'm gonna ask this girl who's innocent and nice and take advantage and ask her to fetch my paper." As I always say, you have no idea how difficult it was to get your results before lockdown. It was still normal life and everything. And after class, that's when you could get your paper. He had assumed that you get your paper during class. So he asked me to go get his paper after class because he needed to be somewhere. I said yes to getting his paper, but I didn't see him. So there was a time I ran into him in the in the lift,
Yeah.
and I just ignored you because
Oh, so you ignored me?
I didn't ignore you. You say I ignored you, but I'm saying it's like I ignored you because I didn't.
Yeah, that's what I'm
I
saying.
didn't
Because
see
like
a
I
face
always
I
felt like you
knew.
ignored me, but you always say you didn't
I
ignore
didn't
me. So
ignore you. I
like,
didn't know your face. I just knew I have Sandy Ngwenyas paper, but I didn't know that like how you really look. I think I got to know the first time, that time you came to actually fetch your paper and invite me to your place.
we met up. She came to my place once, and she's practically never left because yeah, from that time we're together from then, and like we've been together since.
We are
So,
not together from, okay, yeah, technically we were. So yeah, we're looking back at how like the relationship has changed, how we've changed with the people around us and everything. So once we started dating, right, we just got into this relationship, like we dived in head, neck, body, feet, everything. Like we
yeah.
became each other's world to a point where like we were consumed with each other, we were obsessed with each other, and we were that was our honeymoon phase, but it was like extreme.
Yeah, when we got together, we started actually spending all our time together. So when me and Tumi's relationship got serious, I was actually staying with some friends at the time. So one of the things she said is that like because the way we're staying with like those with my friends at the time, we're just boys. You know how boys are. Like we didn't really actually have direction. We're just practically just drinking all day, smoking all day, just chilling practically and living like life like that. I wasn't even going to school or anything anymore. I was just literally like in that life. So one of the things Tumi said was that she can't continue living like that. So obviously I had to make that decision that like I can't really stay with these people anymore because I want to be with Tumi, you know. And then, like she was, like Dumi was saying, we got so consumed with each other, we actually started spending a lot less time with other people. With the way we spend time with each other now is it started back then, and that's it's not like really an issue. It's just that we didn't actually find a balance between nurturing friendships and nurturing our relationship and giving other people time as well, because we just got, I don't know, it's like it just felt so good being together.
Before you talk, I really want to speak about this fence thing from my perspective.
Yeah.
I think the biggest conversation about it was, like he said, it was just so extreme and I didn't want to be around that. It was so extreme that Monday to Monday, like your flat is so full of people, even on the stairs and everything. Every day there's drinking and everything. And at that time I was not even like drinking a lot or anything. I'm a more structured person in a sense of I want these things to be planned and everything like that, because to have a functional life you need things to be planned. But every day I felt like, okay, every day these people just wake up and they want to groove and everything. And my biggest conversation was like, you guys didn't are not Joburg kids. We all came to Joburg, or we all came to Pretoria for a reason. We came here to
Yeah.
study and get our studies, but it seems like it's somehow forgotten in this whole thing. Because at the end of the day, you all were university students. I think two were not, but most of you were all university students, but it kind of slipped through the cracks. And I was like, I don't want to be exposed to this.
Yeah.
I don't want to be, because it's easy to fall into that trap
Yeah.
as well if you're around
And
such
once-
I was around you every day and I
Yeah.
was around them every day. And I didn't want to end up like
Yeah,
forgetting what took me to Johannesburg.
and
Yeah.
once the school period is over, like, because you're there because your parents are the ones that are affording you to be there, even if you're on a bursary or whatever. Maybe there's a
Even the bursary
but
is
once the
affording
school
you to
period
be
is
there.
over, if you fail, bursary is gone instantly. Like, if you fail, if your parents don't have money or your parents aren't lenient, you're gone. So like, so that's
Like that's the thing, and I was not gonna go back to God for stupid things. Please, I was not say I was I was not. I knew my parents are not lenient one, and I just didn't understand. Like, if I could be now the strict one, and then I'm with someone that's just living like their best life, it became a problem. And I think I remember when we really had that conversation and it was a huge fight. It's because it was in the process of me, I'm studying, and I had the face of varsity thing that I was part of. And I would have nights where I had to prepare for the next day and everything, and people are like, let's just go to Capello for 2 hours. I do not want to go to Capello for 2 hours, bruh. I didn't come. The square was nice and everything, and I looked forward to having fun. I'm not saying when you're a university student, please
Find a balance.
prioritize fun, but find a balance. Your parents didn't take you to school or whatever to now forget why you are there. You are there to get a degree and to make a career. Then the other things, having a life is important, but
That's very
it shouldn't
important.
now take over from like the primary goal. That
Let's
was
talk-
my whole chat. I was not saying like don't have friends, whatever. I was just saying like
I know.
have.
I know. That's what I'm saying. That's why I was, even when I explained it, I was just saying, like, I understood where you're coming from, and it was you made me realize like how far down the rabbit hole I had gone.
Yeah.
And like, just talking about making friends and stuff in university and having a life, it's very important to have the life, but like to me saying not forget about school, because like, for example, right now in our adult life, and like that period where I could have been going to class, getting to know people in class,
Making
and
connections.
making connections and making networks and things like that. My network is across from me right now. My connection is across from me right now, because like we're just with each other. But it's important to make the friends, because that's just before, like, university is a place in life where it's just before your real life actually starts. Where now there's no structure. Like, when you go to school, for example, your life is based on, I'm going to school.
At 8,
University,
you're supposed to be
yes.
there. break time, your
Yeah.
periods and everything.
Exactly.
And then
University.
they're just like, come, bro, don't come. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
So like in university, same thing. You still have to go to school. There's more freedom, but like you said, to go to school. Once that's done, once you finished university, there's no longer a structure or something unless you get a job or whatever. But even then, everything is on you, and that's where your life starts. And the friends that you make like during university, they're also going into careers. They grow into certain roles in different jobs, or they start businesses or whatever. And that's where the network starts, because it's always easier to, if you have something going on, if you like have friends, always easier to, oh, okay, I know Trifina
Yeah,
does
I
whatever.
can just
I
be
can
like,
put
hey,
Trifina in.
yeah,
You know what I mean?
And so what happened in first year for me, it was easy for me to like dive into a relationship and just be like, okay, cool, I tried this friendship thing and everything like that, because um I came out of high school not having a close friend. I had friends, but I didn't have a close friend. So there's that thing, yeah, okay, like if in matric, if you're in hostel context, I'm going somewhere with this. I'm giving context. So in high school, right? In primary, I was part of 8 friends. I never had a close friend, so I was just always that friend. Even in high school, I was one of 8 friends. Never had a close friend. I had a close friend like for 2 years. Oh, actually, I had a close friends in grade 9. They left the school. Close friends in grade 11 left the school. So in grade 12, that landed me in staying with a grade 11, because there was no one that was just like, I'm going to stay with Dumi. So that was just like kind of, it's fine. I'm alone. I'm fine. But I was fine because there was the general group and I was in a group anyway. So I get to university and I was just like, I've been wearing uniform for 5 years, so I'm gonna wear my clothes. I love clothes. I've been loving clothes. I didn't take into account that that would actually make me a social pariah.
How would you, if you're coming,
I didn't know.
how would you even
People
think
just
that would
assumed
happen?
I'm like some fancy Joburg girl. Like literally, that was the conversation. And I'm like, Batum Kitswa Kwa Kwa. Like I'm also coming from a small
So
town.
what they thought
I
of, they
don't know
thought
this
you were some
place.
fancy girl because you
Some
dress up every
fancy
day.
girl. Yeah, I dressed up every day. I'm feeling myself and everything. And it was that thing. Yeah, I easily made friends with guys. I did have a lot of guy friends. You met me having a lot of guy friends, and it becomes a problem now when we're on in first year and people are in that phase of crushing and everything, and everyone is seeing me with all their crushes,
And you're dressed
and
up,
for
you're
me,
pretty,
I'm dressed
like
up, I'm pretty, but it's literally platonic. It was always platonic with all those people. It was a platonic relationship. If they felt like it was not, that's another thing.
but obviously they
But
felt like it was not, because then they judged you obviously.
no,
And
no, no. I'm saying, but the guys, for me, the guys that
oh,
I was
okay.
friends with, the friendship was platonic. But one thing I've always yearned for was actually girl friendships and everything like that. And the person I made friends with in varsity was also in a relationship that she started with in high school. So we didn't get to see each other a lot, even with the choice of the classes. I took later classes and she took earlier classes. But with all the other girls at in my year and in the same subjects,
there was just some sort of like not right
nah.
energy that
Nah,
they
it wasn't
that they
like
had.
they didn't. Cause and if it wasn't for one of my guy friends, I'm not gonna mention names. But if he didn't, he said, "Why does everyone not like you? Like they always say." And I'm just like, I don't even know. I'm such a nice person. I know that sometimes maybe if I'm awkward, I'll say like weird things or something. But I know for a fact I've never actively like been rude to anyone. I'm very helpful. I'm actually such a people pleaser because I want to be liked so much. So once I found my husband, okay, my boyfriend at the time, and I was like, you know what? This makes me happy. I don't have to be stressed about being liked and everything. I just focused on him because I was so tired of trying to still be part of a girl group and be liked by someone and everything. I was just like, you know what? I'm over this. I'm just over this. But now having so many guy friends and then making like being in a relationship becomes was a problem at the start, right?
Yeah, at that point in our relationship where we were getting together, um, I was also a different person because I had this toxic masculinity. So a lot of and I didn't know Dumi well also. So I obviously did notice that she had more guy friends because the only female friend that I knew you had who was your roommate, like for real, the only female
Yeah.
friend I knew you had was your roommate and Maya.
Yeah.
But also even Maya, I met at a later stage. I didn't know her like
From the start.
from the start.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Bokia and them, I met them way later. But the most female contact I knew you had was with your roommate at the time. So for me, I just saw you spending a lot of time with guys and a specific guy, and also I was around a lot of guys at the same time, so I wasn't like really thinking about things on my own. I was also influenced a lot by the same people who were around me because most of them, even if they were in relationships, weren't like really like in a relationship, if you know what I
That's
mean.
healthy, like a
Yeah, in
normal relationship that's
yeah,
like two grown people being.
yeah, like they just like they were. It's like, oh, I'm in a relationship. I'm married, but not really. But they were married.
Yeah, like
Like
I'm
I'm
not
married, but not
married,
a
but it's
lot.
not serious.
Yeah, I'm married, but it's not serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, like those type of vibes. So yeah, I was around those type of people, and I actually didn't have a problem until I had this conversation with some of those people, and then I started thinking about it in a in a different way. And but then so I obviously didn't like it. So at that time, that's the person that I was. But after we had a conversation, I also got to know a lot of your. I also got to know. Let me not even say a lot. Like there's a lot of them. I also got to know your guy friends, like your closest guy friends, and we've actually become friends with them now because I made an effort to get to know them, and they were pretty cool.
Yeah, and I feel at the time I kind of fought for them because I was
Yeah,
like, especially for someone that hasn't had friends, and now
yeah.
like the little friends that I have now, I have to let go of those ones as well. It was very hard for me, and at the time that I came into Saniso's life, I think his friends felt like, oh yeah, now you're gonna choose this girl over us, and there was a time where I was really pushing that, okay, actually make friends with my friends, okay, um, and see where that goes. And it actually ended up going very well.
I think something that was very important was the fact that you fought for the friends and you actually went out of your way to explain everything. Because remember, at that point, I didn't know you like how I know you now. We were actually still at a stage where we were getting to know each other, and I didn't know your personality through and through. I didn't know your background with regards to friends or anything like that. I didn't know that you had a lot of guy friends, but you went out of your way to make me understand as well and make me see. And you actually, like you said, you did fight for those friends. So that was very important because it also showed me that, oh, okay, it's not even about having anything to worry about because that wasn't my problem. It wasn't like an insecurity thing or anything. I just felt like you were spending a lot of time with these other people when you could have been spending time with me. It wasn't even a thing of like, oh, you're spending time with this guy or whatever. Like, oh, where's my place in all of your life or anything like that. It was just more of a thing where I wanted to spend more time with you. So then you pushed for us to actually get together. And on top of that, your guy friends also made an effort to try and spend time with me. So that was also that was actually, I actually really appreciated that as well. And it's what made me also really work and try to, okay, get to know them, get to understand them and see. Because also at the same time, they know you more than I do. So if I was going to be there like, stop telling me these people, like it was going to be pretty weird because that actually also helped me get to know you because like one of those friends that you had, I didn't even know at the time until at the conversation was someone you're even in high school with. and you were very close to that person. So it made it afterwards. I understood it makes sense for you. But also on my side, I did have friends, but I did have friends I was close to, like two friends in particular, female friends that I was really close to because when I went to, you heard me saying at the beginning of the episode that like I was in my umpteenth first year.
I feel like
In
moms
my
shouldn't count as a year because like that's when you're like
It's
fixing your
still a,
mouth
it's
to
still a,
get
it's still a,
into.
it's still a first year.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
It
it's
was your
actually it's like it
first
was a
year.
gap
Yeah.
year, but it was my first year. So that's where I met these friends, and we were super close because we went through a lot of life changes together. That whole transition from high school to university, even though the mom's campus is practically like high school, but we went through those changes of learning responsibility to be on your own. Like we learned together because we'd spend all the lunch, we'd spend lunches together. Even one of those friends of mine ended up being in a relationship with somebody at mom's, but we'd still spend all the breaks together. We'd still be together all the time. Then we like transition from mom's to main campus and stuff, and we're still close. But then when we got into a relationship, um I just started spending so much time with you, and I wasn't going to campus. It was easier when
You were going to
when we were going
campus.
to yeah, when I was going to campus. And it was also easier at mom's because mom's you have to leave Hatfield and literally go to mom's campus, and it's like high school. So it's like you have classes in the morning, then there's break, classes,
So
lunch,
it's like
and then you
it's
go
a
home.
school type of thing. It's not
Exactly.
university.
So we're going
Like
to we see each other every day
and
anyway.
you were forced.
And
You didn't have a choice. Yeah.
exactly. So even when we actually started main campus, we had already started seeing each other less because like we weren't doing the same thing anymore also. So when then we started being in a relationship, and like we were like literally engulfed by our like relationship, then the friendship with them like also suffered because you came first in my life. And it wasn't a thing of it wasn't even when I say you came first, it's not like, oh my god, now like, but like you came first in my life. So I would rather spend time with you than go to school, because it's not like with them we never actually made plans. Like we really didn't make plans. We've actually made plans, I think, only once or whatever.
The time you guys went
But
to News Cafe without me.
no, we made that plan because we hadn't seen each other in a long time. It wasn't about you. We just
No, it wasn't about me, but the reason why I remember is because I felt like I was in your life now, even if
no, but it
you're
wasn't.
trying
It
to like
wasn't
meet again. Like, why not invite me so I
because
can
you
be
went.
part of? Because I feel like it was gonna be able to continue that friendship because I'm part of your life, and that's where people get it wrong, trying to make a certain life like separate
But that's
from
the
your
thing. It
partner.
wasn't trying to make a life
No, I'm not
separate.
saying you
It
were
was.
trying to. Obviously, you guys needed to catch up and be, because there's times where I went to Bojimi and everyone without you. So I understand.
Yeah.
I was just jealous, but I wasn't jealous of that. I felt out and I didn't have a plan. Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that was just us catching up. And also I think our friendship at that point in time, it had if that part of our friendship had run its course also, because we actually are friends still with those friends of mine. We speak now, we're adults, we speak. I actually, like, for real, we speak.
One.
Yeah, but
And I speak to her as well. She's very nice. We should
yeah.
invite her actually.
Yeah, but also that's what I'm getting to. That like at that point in time, our friendship had run its course, because it happens also that
It does.
even in relationships and everything, like there's a time for certain things. It had run its course, and even now, obviously, I'm closer to one of them. I haven't spoken to the other one in years, but that's also because we've grown apart. We grow apart. We don't have. There's nothing that's bringing us together as, like, And at the same time, I'm not saying that like if like we'd meet up, or if I'd say or whatever, it'd be
Yeah,
awkward.
it wouldn't be
It's
awkward
just life
because you
hap-
were still friends.
Exactly, we're
Like
still
you can
friends.
be like, oh
Like
yeah.
Exactly. Life happened, and our relationship didn't end the friendship in a sour note. What happened was my relationship with you came into my life and became more important, and that was the next phase of my life. And at that phase in my life, those friends were not part of that phase, because when we got together, we actually became everything for each other. I think that's why it was also easier for us to end up not spending time with friends and going to, and even when we went to school or went and did other things, we'd rush to come back to each other because we were everything. We still are everything for each other. We're everything. We're
We
friends.
are
We're
like
lovers.
literally,
We're
even if I make plans now, I'm honest, no. I can't wait to go to my husband. No, no. Most of the time, I'm all in it and everything. Like, but even if I go to the office, lockdown actually made us become closer. So what you are saying is actually very true. Like, at that time, it would just be like, yo, can this be over so we can say bye and I can just be with my husband, like with my person. I keep saying my husband because now he's my husband. And the switch to say my husband took quite a while, but that's not the topic right now. But I just wanted to be with you. You were my
yeah.
person
That's
and our thing, and and I think even the willingness to try on other things was just like, nah.
Yeah, like I think also the good part of it is that we got to be together before we came out of varsity. Because I'm just imagining if I had to find someone outside of varsity, like and I'm
Yes.
figuring life out. I'm doing so many things. Like I can't imagine how difficult it is to, like, you know what I mean. So
It
that was
is,
that.
yeah.
That's a
We
good.
got
That's a
lucky in that
we
way.
got
We
lucky in
got
that
lucky
way,
in that way.
but it was also fucked up in the sense that we loved each other so much. We were so
We
compatible.
stole
It's
our
like,
varsity
yeah, we
experiences away
still
from ourselves.
exactly. So um beyond even like creating friendships which turn into networks and connections and whatnot, we also didn't really go out
Yeah, we
and
we started being like, oh, we don't want to go to clubs, all the
you
noise.
see now.
Oh, sorry.
You see?
Anyway, um, Saniso is a perfectionist, and I'm not. This is actually going to be a topic for the next thing I've decided. So guys, if you guys have differences with your partners that are very extreme, please put them in the comment section. We're going to speak about those in the next session. He's a perfectionist, and I'm more of a person. That's why he's wearing headsets and I'm not. But anyway, I was saying that, like, we started saying like, oh yeah, clubs are noisy, whatever. Bro, we were 20 and 21
But that didn't
and
start. That didn't
everything. It
start at
started
that.
then. It started in varsity. We just wanted to be in each other's presence. All we wanted to do was just buy wine and pizza and eat if when we had money, because also money back then was not like a thing where we could date all the time and everything like that. So when clubbing came reintroduced into our life, like after lockdown, we enjoyed it so much because now we were acting like we're old, we don't want to groove with
No,
other
but
people
that
and
thing,
everything.
like the thing
But
about clubs being noisy and stuff, it didn't start in varsity.
when did it
It
start?
started. It started afterwards,
But
because
when have we
in
went to a
varsity,
club since
listen,
varsity?
listen, in varsity, like we just didn't want to go to clubs. It wasn't about clubs being noisy or whatever. We just didn't want to go out with people. We just
No,
wanted to be
I actually
into.
remember exactly. Actually, the problem for us, the biggest problem for me, I like I like a certain experience if I'm going to a club. I want to be able to sit and everything. But if you're not in VIP, you can't sit. And when you're in university, you don't have that luxury. And another thing that makes it like kind of meh, even if you want to do it, is that you don't have like a group of friends to do it with because of that transition of the fact that we didn't actually have people to make these plans with. So we just like, ah, we'll just chill.
Where we started making excuses for going out really started because when we were in
When we started
varsity,
working.
it started when we were working. Because when we were in varsity, the only thing we cared about was being together. That's literally all we
Yeah.
cared about. We started making excuses for like going out and experiencing things when we started having money on our own and we're no longer like living off an allowance. Because the first excuse, even before clubs became noisy, that just was an excuse that literally came out of nowhere.
Clubs have always
Like,
been noisy, by
thank
the
you,
way.
exactly. It started when we were working, and now we used to be like, okay, but if we do this, if we go here, we have to spend on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Start counting stuff. And like nah, let's rather just let's rather
Sit
just
in the
like sit
house
and we
and
can
like
still
buy in
know.
food and buy the drinks and sit in the house.
Yeah.
That I will never not regret that 3 years of my life. Then like not regret as such, but don't do that. Please don't do. Like you live in Joburg, there's so many places to
Yeah.
experience. There's so many things. If you can spend 300 in the house, there's somewhere you can spend 300 outside. Like yeah, so that's what we started doing. We like, oh, we prioritized being indoors than being outdoors, and those are other places that you can make friends. But yeah.
Yeah, but obviously the whole thing of not being able to make friends and not being able to make friends, but not really keeping up or making the effort to like be with people started like when we actually got together. So that's the part I was saying our relationship was really bad for us because of that, because it took us away not from our friends only, but it took us away from actually making relationships with other people, whether it's friendships or
No,
acquaintances
yeah,
or
just
like
making, that
like
type of
yeah, because
connections
yeah,
outside of our
of our relationship. Because like
relationship.
for
Yeah.
example, I'm not saying I actually don't want to be the person that like everybody's going to call to say, hey, can you please help me find 1, 2, 3, 4? Can you? I don't want to be that person that like now on my contacts I know, okay, oh plumber, oh like
Yeah.
tire what. I don't
Yeah,
want to be
yeah,
that person, but like I know that I'm working on it now, obviously, but I know that like I would like to know that okay, I need help with this specific thing in this business that I'm doing. This is somebody who has experience in that, and we have some sort of relationship, so it will make sense for me to call that person and be like, yo, bro, look, I'm struggling with this. When like, how do you get passes?
Yeah,
You know what I
that's
mean?
you, yeah. And that's
So
what you could have gotten if you had friends in
yeah, if we
varsity
had
that you're
friends,
close to.
yeah.
However, like the difference between me and you is that you were able to actually still make friends besides our thing, because with every person we meet, or with every person we connect to, it's easy for you as someone who's like, you are extroverted, but I think more of it is you are more good with human relationships. um and you are able to actually think, because I'm thinking, even if I had a network, even right now with the people that I have, I'm someone that doesn't like think, okay, I can ask for help and everything like that.
Yeah.
So what is important for me in friendships that I can't get from only being with you is that, say for instance, when I started making friends with Borefilo and everything, and I got to meet her friends, I get inspired a lot, like by how other people think, and that's when I'm open to try new things and try things, because oh, this is how it's done and everything. Because at the end of the day, if you are that young, you only have your ideas of the world and everything.
Yeah,
You
yeah. If you're
really
not
only
spending
have
time
your
with
ideas, and
people,
if you're
you're
not
not
spending
exposed
time,
to a
you're
lot.
not exposed to anything. Because I became exposed to you, and luckily you are someone that likes things, and you try things, and you're not someone that's just like, oh yeah, nah, like this is
So
this and that. I got that from you, but once I started making my own friends and everything, I saw that like I got to have my own interests and everything. We wouldn't be eating sushi if I didn't try and make my own
yeah,
friends or anything,
yeah,
and realize, okay, I actually like this thing,
yeah.
and can we try it now and
Exactly, and it's very
everything.
important. And it's very important in a relationship, whether you're like super in love with somebody or it's or yeah, just in a relationship, whatever stage the relationship it's in. It's very important to actually have friendships outside of the relationship, or even if it's not friendships, even if it's just acquaintances or whatever, just like what you're saying, to have other people have different perspectives, and to be able to experience other things that are not just in your relationship. And also, for us, also another thing that made us kind of spend a lot of time together is because we're also we think differently. Also, yes, we do things we think similarly to a certain extent, and we like doing things in a similar way, but we think completely differently. Like
In
we
our
Yeah,
approach, I
in our
mean,
approach to
our approach
things.
is
Yeah,
different
our
and
approach to
everything.
things is different. But anyway, going back to it was difficult to make friends in our relationship, and we had each other. The hardest part in our relationship from before now was when um I had to move to Kempton Park. And
Ooh.
I had to move to
Ooh.
Kempton Park
I
because
shame in daughter will break your heart by moving. Nje.
I was
You
now at
forgot why you
UNISA.
came to
Thank
Pretoria
you, because I had forgotten
and
why I came
you
to
got
Pretoria.
excluded from the University of Pretoria.
And I no longer had classes to attend, so there was no longer a reason for rent to be paid.
And the
But
parents were like, baby boy. But
but
luckily,
it
at
made
least it was
sense.
Kempton
Yeah,
Park.
because
Your mom
my
had
mom
just
had
moved
to
to
move
South
closer.
Africa. It could
So
have been Swaziland, but still, that was the hardest thing ever. First of all, first year I had a roommate, so when we went into our, like, we basically lived with each other. It was so convenient for me to
yeah,
forget.
you practically moved to
Yeah,
my place.
yeah,
Even though
yeah.
in your mind you're like, you stay
Yeah, I don't
here.
stay here. I used to go bath in my own place and everything, but I moved back into my place and I had to, like, now deal with life again, because part of our relationship was me, like, escaping the fact. Remember when you met me, I was not even talking to my roommate because she made me a parent at 18. I was also 18. We are both 18-year-olds, but I can't be telling you to clean and to be doing the schedules for you and to be explaining to you why it's important to flush the toilet, those type of things. And it frustrated me. So when we got into our bubble was so nice.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you're
Yeah,
still
best
my,
type bubble
yeah,
man Kempton back.
and then our booty, like, didn't make first year, and the mom was like, if you're moving to now UNISA, you don't need to be going to classes, so you're gonna move to Kempton Park. That was the longest. I don't know how long. Was it 6 months till I went?
I don't
Cause
know.
no, yeah, it was like 8 months until I ended up going to Tabane, the commune, cause I couldn't live with her. Like, it was unbearable.
But
Again,
even
I
if
had to deal with
but even
her
if
being unbearable. Then I had to deal with not being with you. Had to deal with the fact that I don't have friends at all. So I was lonely. I had to deal with this situation, and you were not there, and you couldn't be there always because
yeah, because I mean, I think that's where I learned the reality of the situation. Nkutsi. It was a privilege to be in university
it is.
and be able to live my life freely, because my life is based around, it was based around Hatfield, everything was around there. So everything was there. I think that's why I really learned, because now I'd moved to Kempton Park. Firstly, I'm living in this freaking place. I don't know anybody. I don't know my neighbor. Like I practically have nothing. I have nothing. I'm not going to school, mind you. So like I'm not going to school, I'm not going to class. So like I don't have anything to do. And I'm coming from a place of I had been living with the love of my life, who's now my everything. And now I'm on my own. Like I'm literally on my own, because it was just me and my mom. My sisters would come from time to time, but practically it was just me and my mom. My mom was at work all the time,
And she
and
travels as
and my
well.
mom
And
travels a lot, and also at that time, my mom was also starting her life this side. So there was also that she, like, now we're figuring my mom's life out and stuff like that. So it was difficult because I was lonely as well. I had Charlie, a dog. I had Charlie, but even Charlie was an old dog, so we had to also get to learn each other. So I was very lonely. It was difficult. Did your the job things
oh, the promotions,
the
I used to
promos?
do
Did you do them
promotion.
before Kempton Park or after?
I started doing them before, but once you move to Kempton Park,
You did them more.
I did them more, but I used to take jobs
In
in
Kempton
Kempton
Park.
Park
Yes, that's what
instead
I'm
of
saying. That's
taking
what
jobs
made it
in.
exactly.
Yeah,
That's what made it
so
easier.
so in second year I took a lot of promotion jobs, and my promotion jobs were the in-store promotions, not the alcohol, like the promotions. So the agency I was with, name they had jobs in Pretoria, which is where I lived because I was student in Pretoria. But every time they'd give us a list, I would choose the Kempton Park jobs so that I could be in Kempton Park with Sunny so for that weekend.
Yeah.
But obviously, like during the day, I would actually have to go and work,
And work.
and then
Yeah.
come back and
Yeah, so I think that's what made everything like so much easier because we'd get to see each other at those times. And also I would obviously take my mom's car, or I'd try to find things that like would make me have to go
And
to
it was nice that I
Pretoria.
could actually visit in
Yeah.
Kempton Park because your mom traveled.
Mm.
Imagine if she was, I couldn't, I wouldn't be able to even have access to you. But
Yeah.
even when you came to Pretoria sometimes and you'd have to leave later on that night, I would cry. I'd be upset. I was a mess.
So the way we dealt really with that was we didn't deal. We just
We didn't deal, but
we
we
didn't deal,
made
but I
a
just made
way to
plans.
just always be together and everything like that. And I moved.
Yeah.
Then when I moved, I had my own room in a commune, and luckily it was not so strict, so he could visit until what happened with his place happened with me, and was like, just stay here, bruh. Like I hated when you leave, so never leave, please.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that when I think about all of this with regards to our relationship, yes, the Kempton Park part was was the most difficult part with regards to us spending time and things like that. But I think the hardest year was that year at Tabane's place. At like the commune, because at that point in time I was no longer at school. I was practically not at school. And like that, I had to figure out, okay, what's happening, because I knew at that time that like I literally this it's just
Yeah, because
this
what's your
time
purpose
period. Because
now? Because,
what am I doing?
yeah.
Like what the hell am I doing? I didn't know. I didn't know what was like going on. What was going to happen with my life? Yes, the record label started like really that year and things like that. But even if that didn't feel like it was, it didn't feel like it was because it just took a lot of time, but not a lot of financial progress. You know what I mean? In fact, it was like a lot of money that I didn't even have that was
That
going
was
down
going
that
out
drain.
and not going in.
Yeah.
And that time I'm going to classes, I'm studying, I'm doing exams. So this was a time where I'm like trying to figure out what's going to happen next year. Because it's still scary being in final year where I know for a fact, kind of again, honors was not an option. My parents gave me a degree, and honors was not going to be an option. I didn't get a bursary during my studies, and I was an average student. And me, I'm far from average on anything, but I think figuring university out on my own, being the first one, like as in the children in my house to be in university, I just had to figure out a lot of things. But anyway, it was very scary. Final year was very scary for me, because first of all, I knew by then that I don't want to be in corporate, remember, because we
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah,
be entrepreneurs so much and everything
yeah,
like that. But
yeah.
obviously, nothing had kind of materialized. and I knew a job was required because I was not going back. Now, when I say I'm not going back to Kwakwa, I'm not saying anything bad about Kwakwa, but the biggest thing about Kwakwa for me is that it's another place I really don't have a life. It's not like I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go back to Kwakwa, but at least I have my friends, and I don't have a life in Kwakwa. Nobody knows me in Kwakwa. Like I'm just, yes, I'm from Kwakwa, but I don't have a life in Kwakwa, and that's a thing that I used to think, like,
It's
what
what
am I
pushed
gonna
you
do?
to like actually keep on like
Keep on, because at least I've tried to establish some sort of a life for myself here. So what am I gonna do? And that used to break me down. That used to like stress me up so much. And I still like that pressure of I really, really, really wanted to still finish in record time, which is not something that's very at UP. It's very hard to finish in record time, but I still wanted to do that. And at the commune, I was actually exposed to people that that had been at UP for over 6 years. I didn't want that, but also I didn't want to not have anything, because you can get your degree, but if I can't expect my parents to be paying my rent and my thing. And I feel also part of your stress was that I was putting pressure on you for us to kind of have a plan for next year and all of that.
and
No, I didn't move the chair.
you did.
I didn't.
I heard it. Anyway, I think also I think another thing is, at that time when we were at UP, just to give like context as well, it was around like 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017. No, 2016.
2016.
2014,
That's the
2015,
final year.
2016. So that's around the time when like the entire South Africa was pushing entrepreneurship and things like that.
Like, you see how
2016 was-
content creation is a big thing now, and companies are even pushing
exactly.
that. Back then, it
was
was
entrepreneurship to
Yeah.
try and create jobs and things like that. So our very first thing at that time, because we're also talking about how we changed. Our very first thing at that time, I remember very well. At that time, I did not want a job. I didn't want to work anywhere actually, because I wanted to start my business. And at that time, starting a business, there was no full understanding of what a business actually is. And the differentiation between an idea or something that excites you and like what a business and everything is. So at that time, especially during the year 2016 at that time, because also for me, I had to figure out like what the hell am I going to do, because after this, like that's it. I knew for a fact. My mom even said like when, because I had to say I'm going to stay with Ngaba and whatever,
You need
to
to
go
come
back to Pretoria.
Pretoria.
I'm going to stay with like a friend of mine, Ngaba, and things like that. And I had to figure everything out in a space of 12 months. Just very unrealistic, but still at that time, because everything was entrepreneurship, and also for me, like, start your business, whatever, you know what I mean? So it was crazy. It was a very hard year, because like I'm not at UP or any varsity or anything. I studied
UNISA.
like I'm at
At the
UNISA.
time, yeah.
And that time, also just to give context, I had gone and studied entrepreneurship at UP. Didn't finish, didn't attend classes. So I didn't even get to get the knowledge, or
That's
to
required,
get the
yeah.
knowledge, or like get the understanding, or even get into a place. Because at UP, the nice thing is even the lecturers, some of the lecturers were especially for entrepreneurship or business or those type of
I
subjects.
loved my entrepreneurship lecture.
Yeah, the nice thing about UP is that the lecturers for those type of subjects and stuff, like to me, was like saying now, they're actually people who are in business. Some of them very successful business people. Some of them people who are, yes, the business is successful, but it's not like a multi,
Big,
like huge.
multi.
It's like maybe an SMME or something like that. So I didn't get to experience that because I was busy living. It's like doing whatever. It's not living my best life, doing whatever, and not actually going to class. So now I'm at the point where if I'd gone to school, maybe I would have been in a better place because I could have understood the difference between a passion project and a
And
business.
a business, yeah,
You know,
that's gonna be money.
exactly. So at that time, we're doing a record label. And yes, there was a bit of progress with regards to things happening with the record label, but it's a very cash heavy business. I'm a student. At that time, my allowance for everything, total allowance in working terms, they call it gross, sucker.
Yeah.
My gross. My gross was 1.5.
Buy like me too.
My gross was 1.5.
Buy groceries with that. Buy your electricity. Buy your toiletries. Buy everything. And with your like 100 rand change, make a life, have a life, 100 rand.
Exactly.
And Nashem,
that's a gross.
That's the other reason we didn't have a life in varsity, because not even before I met you, I would never go out if I didn't have money. And a lot of girls have a life in varsity and everything. That's so like,
it's extravagant. It's a big deal.
Extravagant. And I'm just like, naked get like 100 rand at this life. One thing about me, no guy's gonna be like, I bought you and drink. Yay. Yes, I'd rather stay in my flat. Anyway, that's not relevant to this. I was just talking about like
the gross. That's
a
gross.
Like that 1.5 is your gross.
It's everything.
You need to buy.
Luckily, there's no tax at that time.
There's no tax, but also, we didn't take into consideration that where you live, your parents are actually covering for it.
Yeah,
because
no
right
rent.
now, where I live, I cover for it. The groceries I eat, I cover for it. The petrol I use, I cover for it. So our allowance obviously didn't include like the rent and everything, but the electricity, the food, the going from one place
everything.
to another.
Our parents just paid rent
and you can't
gave
say
us,
to you can't say that.
You can't go and ask for
You
money
can't
for
say
entertainment.
like I need, or you can't ask for money even to go around. Where do you need to
Where
go
are you
around?
going, bruh? Because you need to go to school. Go to fucking class.
I'm paying for a place that's next to school, so you can walk to school and back.
In fact, you shouldn't be asking me for extra money. Ask me to be paying for a fucking tutor because you're failing. Like, bruh. No, I'm talking about me.
If there's a black parent that's gonna pay for a tutor.
No, I'm talking about me. Like, I'm just saying.
Oh my God, it's so ironic. My mom is actually paying for a tutor for my little brother. But no,
but like that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm saying, like, you can't go ask your parents for money. Ask, like, the driver said, go ask me for a tutor. Like, and on top of that, they're already sacrificing every single penny they have
like,
for you to be there and you're busy.
And that's the thing, like, the thing that people take for granted so much is how much your parents are sacrificing. Because I'm thinking in 1 month, this person has to pay rent from their salary. Whereas
and they're
they
also
have
paying
their
a
own
bond as well.
They have their bond, they have their responsibility, cars,
other
everything,
siblings
living.
for some people.
Yeah, and siblings. We have siblings. And then when
petrol to get to work.
Udula 6 years university, banza bapatala the courses that courses are expensive.
Yeah, and also actually, they pay at bare minimum before you talk about rent. Because, for example, actually, let's put this into perspective. Wait, hold on. Let me just put this into perspective, right? 1 year at UP at bare minimum would probably cost 40K. 1 year at bare minimum.
50,
or we can even say 50K. 50K at bare minimum a year, right? And then the cheapest rent. But let's put it to where we're staying at the fields.
We were staying at,
because we're staying at a very nice
you
place.
Were at 5,000 something per
5.6.
month. I was sharing a bachelor.
But that's what I'm saying.
2.5.
That's what I'm saying.
Times it by 12.
Exactly.
It's still a lot of money.
Thank you. Like let's just say 6K actually, right? 6,000 rand.
A month.
So that's 72K.
From your salary.
So listen, in a year, that's 72K for the year for the rent. The basic
that's
of rent. Right? And then there's the fees, which is 50K. So now we're at 122,000 rand, right? From this person's salary. And then on top of that, there's 1.5 for you every month. That's just you. There's 1.5 for you.
Almost 20,000, bruh.
Like,
That's going to you for
That's
free.
it's plus 18K on top of the 22,000 rand. Like that's 122,000 rand actually. That's 140K. That has to come out of your and most of our
Salary.
and most of our parents at that and like literally most of our parents at that time are probably earning at like 350K a year. Like
Yeah, that's true.
like,
actually,
they're
and then
earning,
you are
like,
calculating
and
this
that's gross.
100,
And also
that's
that's gross. Also that's
and then
gross.
you are calculating this 100 and something. Actually, almost 200,000
Yeah.
that we've calculated now. That's just going to you, where you have siblings. They have a life of their own. They have
Bruh.
cars and petrol, and they're taking that
Bruh.
every year for you.
Bruh, like this is
Our
actually this is
parents
the first time I've actually literally sat
said
and
and
thought about
calculated
it
and thought about it,
in
but it's a
that
lot.
way. So like that is crazy. That is like that. No, that's
Like, granted, you chose to have me.
yeah, but still,
like, at least
you
I
can
must
go. You
be
can go. You can go to. You can literally do.
No. We went to public universities, private universities. The
No, I was
fees alone are
saying,
like
I was saying, no, but like,
250,000.
for example, they could have decided that like you could have gone and stayed at if like
Sunnyside,
at
what?
Sunnyside or
Yeah.
something like that and paid less, or you could have gone to a different
could have
varsity.
went to
You could have gone to
Unisa instead,
Unitwa. I could have gone to University of fucking Swaziland.
Lincoln Queen.
No, there's Lincoln and there's also University of Swaziland. I could have gone to fucking University of Swaziland.
And they still like indulged me and let me go and have my dreams and how
And that's what I'm saying. It's
And then
huge.
now I meet you and now you want me to then fuck that up and move back to Kwakwa when my parents are you're high. No, it's for me. Like, one thing you will never take away from me. The things I worked for, I will never not go to work because you guys decided not. I'm going because I know this life that I like and I love, and I will stay in this life that I like and I love. If we're not a plan, how you have your plan, but I love the life that.
How is this your kids?
No, us. As in, like, I'm saying, like, I get that was with school. But right now, if people were like, yeah, just don't go to work. And like, people are like that even in adulthood. And I'm just like, bruh, I want trajectory to go forward. I don't want to keep on going back and forward. Granted, life can pull you back. But I never want to be the factor that made it. Mara, the money our parents spent. I need to build my mom a house. I need to build my dad. I need to get them.
Exactly. Like, I understand why my mom was telling me, Huri, like, this is it, dog. Like, this year is it. And like, that year I didn't know what was going on. But I didn't want a job, but I was forced to get a job because
Bruh, what are you
things
gonna
were
do?
happening.
You've messed up the opportunity to just
I've
be freely living off someone.
Exactly, because I'm not in school anymore, and that's the first.
Excuse me.
That's the first job I actually ever got. During that year was selling loans to people, and like that job was difficult because I'm not an empath, but I also kind of understand. Understand and like feel for people because at this job I had access to people's pay slips, bank statements, all of those things. So if a pay slip says this, I look at the bank account. I'm like, you get to see everything. We also have access to their credit and seeing where all their credit is and seeing all of those things. So now I have to go to a person and give them more credit.
They can't even afford the credit.
Exactly.
So
that was
actually
tough.
It's so crazy how credit is, because there was this one customer that, like, I think that was the customer that made you kind of say can't do this.
The only customer that I actually ever got.
Yeah, you only got that customer and you're like, we ate pizzas and everything.
Because after him, I stopped.
Yeah,
After
but
I stopped
he
the job.
was earning around 50,000.
He
No.
was taking home 10K. His salary was 15K.
Yeah. But he had so many loans.
So yeah, he had some loans. The only thing that was left in his account, I think it was 2K or something.
Yeah, it's so fun. Hey, and on top of that 2K, if he applies, because he still has 2K, that's kind of left to other things. And it's not like that 2K just goes to him. He uses it for
Yeah.
food,
In
clothes,
his
whatever.
bank statement,
But
it didn't have
if
anything.
the credit people, yeah, if the credit people say, we see here this 2K could be going to us per month, they give you the credit. But yeah, credit is another thing we need to talk about in
Yeah,
adulting and everything.
we'll actually speak about that in another episode. But yeah, that job was tough, and I had to leave that job. And leaving that job was also tough because when I decided to leave that job, I didn't know what was coming next. And the hardest thing was that it's your final year. You don't have job prospects yet or anything. And I don't have job prospects. All the jobs that I applied for, because I started applying literally in January that year. I started applying as soon as I was able to move to thing. I started applying for jobs and things like that. Even though the record label was happening, but in my mind I knew that that thing is not going to make money unless. And then I left that job. I had nothing at all, and I was scared as fuck. I was scared as fuck. And it was going towards the end of it because you also
We were
got a
also
job.
scared. I
You also
got
got
an
a job, an
internship.
internship at that
Yeah.
at the
And
thing.
had you not been there, I doubt I was going to be able to do the internship and finish my final year. Because I remember with my final year assessments and only one subject I could require assignments. UP is very exam based, test based, and everything. But without your help that year, I don't know. Bruh, I don't know.
One thing about
I
us
think
was support
the
each other.
conclusion, we are very, very supportive of each other. We help each other out in our studies. I wished I could go up there with Sandiso and be like, we got this degree together, and because we've just been helping each other throughout. I know now we are talking about, the things that we were not good at when we now started our relationship and we were so about each other. But we helped each other out, even with the whole transition. Because when he was making the decision to even quit
We spoke
this job,
about
we
it.
spoke about it.
And
Yes,
all the things I'm
we
saying
were
here,
starting to see-
I spoke. In fact, actually, I think to kind of bring this episode to a close, we'll obviously the next episode will be from. Continuing from after the final year and going into the
Into
next
now
part of
the
our life,
jobs and
but just
everything.
to just close this thing off. The thing about us also is we, even though our relationship, we've spoken about everything. When we say we're everything for each other, we spoke. The nice thing was to have an open line of communication. We're partners. What I do, she knows about. She's doing it too. And when I say she's doing it too, she's supportive in where she can be. Whatever Dumi's doing, I'm supportive in that. And that's the thing about it. We speak about everything. When a decision has to be made, when a decision has to be made, it's a decision that affects the both of us. So we make those decisions together. Obviously, we're human beings. There are going to be episodes where we talk about obviously the things where we didn't do that.
You didn't listen, or
We didn't listen and things
it
like that because
wasn't
we're
the
human
case,
beings.
yeah.
But at that point in our life, we were doing that, and like in that final year, we were doing that because that was the biggest change we've experienced. Yes, me moving to Kempton Park was a lot, but the biggest changes we experienced was in that last year going into starting to work, because that was the year where we knew nothing. We knew we had we were relaxed in our relationship before because we're in varsity.
It was nice. Our parents
And-
were sponsoring our lives, and
Yeah.
it was not like pleasure or whatever, but it was nice.
We had
then
peace.
final year hit,
Peace.
and
Yeah.
and now for me especially, I knew, and that's one thing I kind of we had a chat with the girls episode where we spoke about strict parents, but I don't know, there was this certain pressure that I felt that I needed, because if I didn't feel that pressure, I could just have relaxed and just said, they'll take
Fuck
care of me
this.
next year.
Yeah.
But the pressure I felt in final year to be like, I need to have a job and everything,
Yeah, you
because
need to have something going on.
this undergraduate that my parents afforded me, I need to do something
must
with it,
work
and
from you.
I work and stay in Johannesburg.
Dango is thank you.
Anyway, guys, it was a very interesting transition,
that year
and
was-
everything we had to go through. But 2016 was the pits.
Yeah, 2016 was the pits. But towards the end of it all, things started actually opening up, because at the end of that year, a job I had applied for at my very first permanent job came from that period where I applied for it. I think it was in February. I didn't even want. You actually showed me that job. Yeah,
I didn't remember.
Yeah, you actually showed me that. It was on Facebook. You showed me that job. I didn't even want to apply for it, to be honest, but I applied for it anyway. That was in February. In October, in that year, which was hell because we did not know what was going on. We were in Mr. Price at Hatfield Plaza. So if anyone is listening or watching,
If you ever have been
and
at
you've
Mr. Price
been,
at Hatfield Plaza,
there
there
is
is
no
never
network.
Never.
There is no
especially if
network.
you use Telkom, 0 bars. You will not get a
Dololo.
call, you will not get a
Nothing.
message, you won't get anything.
I got a call that day. I got a call that day, and they're like, "Hi, this is Mang Mang from South African Airways. Yes, you applied for what? Would you like to call you for an interview?" I'm like, literally, my response was, "Are you joking? Is this a joke?"
Really? Did you say that?
Yes. I said, "Are you serious? This is a joke." It's like, "Yes, we'd like you to come to our Tambo, whatever." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. You have my so like we'll email you. Just confirm now. Will you be able to come?" Like, definitely, I will be there. And from that moment on, that's where our life actually changed and started on the trajectory we're on now. But we'll bring today's episode on a close to that, and the next episode is obviously going to be continuing from this. But if there's anything you'd like us to talk about from a relationships perspective, any questions you'd like to from a life perspective, even if you have say you want to ask us a question, if you have something happening in your life and you'd like us to speak about it from our perspective, drop it in the comment section, or if you're listening to us from a streaming platform, email that us at ngwenyashouse@gmail.com, and we'll respond, obviously, and we'll talk about it. And
yeah. And even if it's with regards to, because we're still going to talk about so many things, the way we touched on entrepreneurship, we are going to have a sit-down episode with all of that, what we've learned, what we could have done better, what are we doing now that's better, and so forth and so on. So guys, engage, enjoy. We are coming with,
we'll be back. So we're going to do
this.
We're going to have Living with the Ngwenyas every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. When will we post? On Thursdays?
On Thursdays.
So we'll have it on every Thursday on all streaming platforms. Podcasts can go to, and on YouTube as well. If you're watching us on YouTube, guys, please do subscribe. If you like hearing these conversations, please do subscribe, share it with your friends, and become a housemate. And we'll see you next time on Living with the Ngwenyas House.